My dad tried to force me to cut my hair, so my aunt decided to get revenge. The aunt who called me was actually my dad's little sister, but she was nothing like him. She had always been my favorite aunt since she had always been sweet to me growing up. She had a really funny personality and a great career. My aunt never had kids and instead spoils me and my siblings with expensive gifts and trips. It didn't surprise me to hear from her after the news started to spread. As soon as I answered the phone, I could tell she was pissed off. I told my aunt everything that happened over the phone, and she went off telling me how sick she was of my father. She said that he was an idiot and bigot and he wasn't the only one with some pocket change. She called my father some names and made some jokes to cheer me up, and she ended the call saying she was going to make this all right. The call made me feel a lot better. Just to hear my aunt say that my dad was in the wrong and I deserved the car made me feel better. I didn't want to act like some spoiled brat, and I was just hurt and confused that my dad would choose to die on this hill. Well, the very next day after my aunt called me, my entire family was home, and it was around 6 p.m. I was in the living room with my mom and my siblings, and my dad was in his office. That's when we heard a random car pull into the driveway and beep its horn over and over. We all went outside, and to my shock, there was a brand new version of my dream car. My aunt hopped out of the driver's seat with a huge smile on her face, ran up to me, and gave me a big hug before yelling surprise. It only took me a second to understand what was going on, and when she hugged me again, this time she said, "You deserve this, buddy. Don't let anyone tell you that you don't deserve the things you worked hard for." I started crying as she pulled out of our hug. My aunt had always treated me well, but this was next level. It felt like a dream. My mom and my siblings were hugging me and congratulating me when my dad finally came out of the house to see what the commotion was. He looked livid when he noticed what was going on, and he yelled at my aunt first. He even tried to walk up to me and snatch the keys out of my hand. That's when my aunt physically got in between us and gave my dad a hard shove backward. She started screaming at my dad. She called him a failure of a parent and said if he wasn't going to love his son, there were plenty of other people in the family who would. She said he should be ashamed of himself, and my siblings and I had to stifle our laughter when she said he was just jealous of my hair because he was a balding beach. My dad argued back at my aunt, and even tried to tell her that he would get the car taken away from me since he's still my legal guardian. My aunt said I was a legal adult, and the car was in my name and no one else's, and if he laid a finger on it she would call the cops on him for theft. I guess my dad realized he wasn't winning in this situation. He turned to my mom and said, "Are you really gonna let this happen?" And my mom just said yep. Without missing a beat. I wish my dad hadn't acted like such an A in the first place, but my aunt backing me up like that is certainly a core memory now. More than anything, my aunt's taught me about what kind of adult I want to grow up to be, and I just feel so loved and supported that my dad's bullshit means nothing to me now.